Hello and welcome to another edition of the Fatu Network News Review. Today, 14th of January 2020. My name is Amar Wali. The Point newspaper is reporting that Killer Ace got 1 year imprisonment, and a joint declaration proves no agreement with Jammeh. And the Fourier newspaper is reporting, or is also reporting that Killer Ace fines over $18,500 and letter from Halifa Sallah to Ousainou Darboe. Guinea-Bissau president or Guinea-Bissau ruler out laissez-passer between Gambia and Guinea-Bissau. And I will also have a story from the Drug Law Enforcement Agency, and the Gambia government announced that it will put together efforts to combat human trafficking. And the United Nations Development Programs, UNDP, over the weekend organized a challenge on how to manage the problems of waste through technology. But before all that, I will just start with the papers. And the Point newspaper is reporting that Ali Cham, alias Killer Ace, the musician, was on the 13th of January 2020 convicted and sentenced by Magistrate Juve of the Carnegie Magistrates Court to a fine of $10,000 in default to serve 1 year imprisonment for prohibition of conduct conducive to the peace, and a $5,000 in default to serve 6 months imprisonment for assaulting a police officer. And he was also cautioned and discharged for willful damage to property. He was also ordered to pay a compensation of $2,500 to the police officer he assaulted in default to serve 3 months imprisonment. A compensation of $500 was ordered for him to pay for damaging a uniform of a police officer in default to serve 1 month imprisonment. All these sentences will run concurrently. In his judgment, the presiding magistrate told the court that the prosecution called 5 witnesses to prove their case and tendered some exhibits. He said that the convict testified and also tendered some exhibits. He further stated that the court treats everybody equally and ignores immunity. The Point is also reporting that 26.8 million small remnants enhancement project was launched. The project management unit of the Small Remnant Production Enhancement Project, in partnership with the Central Project Coordinating Unit under the Ministry of Agriculture, on Friday began a 5-day nationwide regional launch of the project that seeks to boost the production of a small ruminants in the country. The project is said to be the biggest and purely livestock production enhancing projects that Gambia government has secured from the Islamic Development Bank. Well, that's what we have for you on the Point newspaper. The Fourier newspaper is also reporting that court fines Killer Ace to $18,500, and Guinea-Bissau rules out laissez-passer between Gambia and Guinea-Bissau. The president-elect of Guinea-Bissau, His Excellency Omar Sissoco Embalo, has told journalists that with the coming into office of his regime, there will be no laissez-passer between the Gambia and Guinea-Bissau. President Embalo said this on Monday at State House in Banjul during a press briefing with the Gambian journalists as part of his country visit to his Gambian counterpart, President Adama Barrow. And he said, I have come to the Gambia to seek advice from my big brother, Adama Barrow, and to also officially invite him to attend my inauguration slated for February 19, 2020. I have also come to confirm that Gambia will be one of our major partners in the Shop region. That's all we have for you on the papers, and we'll look at another story from the Drug Law Enforcement Agency. Today paraded at least dozens of alleged drug traffickers. The agency at a press conference today said at least 30 people have been arrested after they were found in possession of at least 300 kilograms of cannabis. All of them are men. Jaka Sise Jaite reports.
The arrests are yet another major success in the fight against drugs in the country.
The cases being presented here relates to operations within the West Coast region that resulted in the seizure of over 300 kilograms of suspected cannabis sativa, involving over 30 suspected persons arrested in diverse places within the region. In addition to an operation that was conducted within hotspots within the said region, including the beachside at Tanje and also Gunjur. because these are, from our radio programs, areas where we've been receiving complaints of people who are involved and bent on the open abuse of drugs.
At least 30 persons, all male, have been arrested at different times starting in the last quarter of 2019. Cannabis is what almost all of them were caught with.
We have about 83 big bundles of suspected cannabis sativa involving 2 suspected persons arrested by the anti-crime unit of the Gambia Police Force. This move is highly commendable. We appreciate, commend and celebrate those officers. This shows that when it comes to internal security, it is the collective effort of everybody. We continue complementing each other's effort. It might not be our primary responsibility, but when we see crime any place or anywhere, we as the security officers or even as citizens, it is our responsibility to ensure or to make sure that our communities are safe.
The suspects were paraded at the new Yundum DLEAG station, and they included non-Gambians.
Yes, we have about almost 4 Senegalese that are involved in this particular case, and the other case that come from Sibano region, we have 2 that are at large that we suspect to be Senegalese nationals. Because as we said, you know, the cannabis that comes to the Gambia, majority of it comes from the southern Senegalese region of Casamas. So therefore, I believe this is even one reason why we must commend the commissioner and his men of the West Coast region, because these drugs we are seeing here, including some quantities of cannabis resin, hashish, were meant, or the target market was for our communities.
According to the DLEAG, the alleged drug traffickers employ various concealment methods.
Equally in the same vein, you can see the seizure of the commercial vehicle that use a very sophisticated concealment method that without information it becomes very, very difficult for you to be able to aware about this. This is why we've always called on the public to continue to share information with us, because information is very key. Without information in our trade, it becomes very, very difficult for you to make any meaningful development.
DLEG has called on the general public to be more vigilant to activities in their environment and report cases of suspected individuals involved in drug trafficking. For the Fatu Network News Review, Jaka CCJT reporting.
For the first time in the Gambia, your favorite GSM operator, Africell, is the first and only GSM operator to launch a brand new technology called the eSIM. The eSIM simply means you can use your phone without a SIM card. Do you have an iPhone 11? Any of the iPhone X series, a Google Pixel 3, or any new phone that supports the e-technology? Visit any Africell customer care center. Activate your eSIM today. With your virtual Africell SIM, you can use more than one number without having a physical SIM card in your phone. Enjoy this brand new technology for the first time in the Gambia, brought to you by Africell. eSIM, your phone without a SIM card. For more information, please call 111. Where Africell goes, nobody dares to follow.
Now, the Gambia government has announced it will put together efforts to combat human trafficking. The United States, in a damning assessment last year, said the Gambia is not doing enough to combat human trafficking. The Gambia government has said it will support all relevant institutions to fight human trafficking, as officials gathered at Coral Beach Hotel to discuss measures that could be put in place. Adama Makasuba was there and he came out with this story.
Gambia last year stood at risk of sanctions from the United States after it was found to have not made significant efforts to fight human trafficking. The U.S. Department of State in 2019 Trafficking in Persons report placed the Gambia in Tier 3. The last of 3 tiers, a country in Tier 3 is placed under special scrutiny and risk U.S. sanctions. The Gambia government on Tuesday responded by bringing together officials to provide measures aimed at addressing human trafficking in the Gambia.
I am very happy to tell you that the government of the Gambia has zero tolerance to trafficking in persons. I have heard several discussions with His Excellency President Adama Barrow on this matter, and he's always said we should never ever tolerate such practices because it's a gross violation of human rights and dignity of the persons that are always victims of this practice.
the Gambia government says it will now support all relevant institutions in fighting human trafficking.
We have also recognized that trafficking in person is an issue and a global public concern for which Gambia is also part of. The government will put all efforts together and support all the relevant institutions to address the issue of trafficking in person because it's a human rights violation and also has a gender dimension. Looking at it from different perspectives, there are different people who are differentially affected, and you have heard from the discussions that were going on, the first presentation, the second presentation, the third presentation has been talking about the nature and dimension of what trafficking in person involves. I think every civil society organization or non-state actor will see themselves in being part of it, apart from what government does. It's not the plate of the government alone, but everybody who is engaged in addressing human rights issues, who is addressing violence against women, children, and disability, and people who do not have the opportunity, whose voices are never heard or may not have the opportunity. Every NGO, every non-state actor should be involved. It is the responsibility of the state as the primary state actor to create that enabling environment. And today, we are here engaged with you to show what has been done, what will be done, and how we move forward on this matter.
The head of the country human trafficking agency says the Gambia is a source and destination country when it comes to human trafficking.
The Gambia is perceived to be a source, a transit point, and a destination country for cases of trafficking in persons, just like most of the countries in the world. When we talk of trafficking in persons, what does it mean? It is often referred to as a modern-day slave trade, and the international definition is the recruitment of, the transportation of, the transfer of, the harboring of, the deceit of, the use of force, threat, coercion, or other forms of abduction, using a person's vulnerability for the purpose of exploitation within and across national borders. There are two types of trafficking in persons: internal trafficking in persons and external trafficking in persons. Trafficking in human beings is a global phenomenon with serious consequences on the rule of law, human rights, and human dignity, where crime is becoming more sophisticated and criminals becoming more organized. Trafficking in persons come in its different forms, in the form of forced labor, worse forms of child labor, domestic servitude, sexual slavery, removal of human organs, early marriages for the purposes of exploitation, child sex tourism, operations backway, i.e. smuggling of migrants only to a certain extent.
The meeting attracted officials from the police, army, immigration, state intelligence service, and custom officials. It will last for 2 days. Adama Makasuba reporting for the Fatu Network News Review. Gambia.
The United Nations Development Programme over the weekend organized a challenge on how to manage problem of waste through technology. The procedure involves using 3D printing to transform plastic waste into various products. More in this report.
Yeah, I think obviously one strategy that we're going to use is like market orientation and market survey, because we need to do market survey. So in this, you really know, like as you said, most Gambians people are using this thing.
Why 3D printing?
Thank you so much for that question. We need the 3D printing in order to make our products to be 100% plastic.
Are you also thinking of training other young people within the community to be able to, get these skills too? Because we want to see knowledge transfer.
Actually, for the training part, we are already doing the training. As you can see on the video, I was trying to demonstrate. I have a contract with YMCA for 4 years. I'm training youth every year.
on satellite installation.
The last group is Women Initiative The Gambia, and they are the winners of the 3D Hackathon today.
My name is Omar Jan, and I am the head of the UNDP Accelerator Lab. And what we had here was a 3-day printing hackathon event, which is basically a challenge to see how we can use 3D printing to solve the challenge of waste management in the Gambia. So we had 20 teams register, and we shortlisted down to 10 and had finalists of 3. So the winning team is called the Women Initiative Gambia, and they will be looking at how to use plastics in the Gambia to make bricks out of it. That is very interesting, we find. And we had over 50 people participate over the 3-day event, which we hosted at the Disruptive Lab. So it's been a pleasure. We had all female teams, we had teammates that were students at UTG, but what was important was to show what 3D printing technology can do for the Gambia and how we can use it to solve the problem of waste in the Gambia as well.
Dominique America wala Europe wala yone mobile muy jël ay weer Smartphone House ñëw pour rek noppal leen looy def rek mooy nga def payment ñu deliver phone bi tey.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Man de sama jëkkër moom ma boole ak yéen. Mohamed Ndiaye.
Mohamed Ndiaye.
waaw Sweden.
maa ngi waxamoon tey si suba.
waaw daf ma call suma téléphone bi yaaxu mu ne ma demal Smartphone House. ma ne ko waaye loolu gaaw na ni mu ne ma demal rek.
moom utal na la fi benn. mooy iPhone 8 Plus.
masha Allah.
ak Smartphone House emuñ ci jaay mobile rek waaye dañuy jaay computer ay yére ak daala yi nga xam ne rek original lañ ba tax nag ku bugg a xam fi nga xam ne mooy Smartphone House da nga dem Kairaba Avenue opposite fi nga xam ne mooy Barcelona shop. Dominique America.
Welcome back after that short commercial break, and with me now I have Fatou Camara, and we'll be discussing fuse. Welcome.
Well, I love it. Well, thank you very much.
Well, yeah, I can say in January 2020, what is your assessment of 2019?
Well, a lot happened in 2019 politically. There's been a lot of talk, like we all know, Gambia now, it's like politics has dominated everything. People are no longer talking about, you know, other issues. Everything that people are talking about now is politics every day. We have issues with the environment that we should be talking about. Right now, there's dust everywhere. Everyone is catching a cold, a lot of dust on us. But I think these are issues that not too many people care about. So it's like it's all politics, the whole of 2019. And it looks like it's going to be the same again.
Okay, what do you think about 2020? What will 2020 be for Gambians?
Well, 2020, I think, is about time for Gambians to know that we have to cut down on the talking and do more of more work. That's what we need to do. The average Gambian spend a lot of time online. Some of us work online, so that's understandable. And I'm talking about people who don't really work there, who will be at their offices, and all that they will be doing the whole day is being online, you know, insulting people, talking about stuff that they have no idea about. So I think for 2020, Gambians should be able to look at ourselves again and say, after 50-something years of independence, here we are, we're still stuck. What are we going to change? Every day when you wake up, think about what you can do differently to impact the life of other people. I think it's about time that we look at those things.
From 2019 coming to 2020, we have seen the emergence of several political parties, Bibi Dabo, President Barrow, and we have seen Ali Gumbo Ture also with his party. The Citizen Alliance was in 2019. What is your what do you make of all this?
Well, it is said that the more the merrier. You know, it's going to be elections next year, and we all know that it will have to be a coalition. That's what I think up till now. So most of these political parties will end up joining other parties, and they can do a coalition. And competition is healthy and is very good. If they have something that they can offer that the current government is not offering, is good for them to come forward and talk to people about it. And you know, you never know, it's election. So if Omar Wali wants to form a political party tomorrow and you can afford $1 million and you think you have a following, why not?
Yeah, if I want to go into farming, I will quit journalism. I'll go into farming.
Well,
Agrarian farmer.
Good luck with that.
So you also heard about the audio of Jammeh. He said he's on leave. So what do you know? We all know he went into example. Jammeh said he's on leave, and many people thought APRC may form coalition with Barrow, but now Jammeh's, discussion with Rambo shows that do you think there's a possibility? And what does this mean for the Gambia?
Well, you know, Jammeh has always been like that. Jammeh has always lived in denial, and I don't like to talk about APRC a lot because for some of them, especially for Rambo, until now, they believe I'm the reason Jammeh is not here, which is very wrong because Barrow came out and he told them clearly that he's the only one who removed the lion. So I don't understand why until now the blame is put on me. But Jammeh maybe until now he thinks that he has that power that he had before, that he could speak and he could scare the people and make them believe that he's going to come. Jammeh knows himself that his issue is beyond Gambia. I mean, there's this issue with Casamas. When he was here, we all know what was happening there. Him coming back to Gambia may not only destabilize the Gambia, but also Casamas, which is right now very stable. We've not been hearing incidents or issues from that area. So that's one issue. And he also talked about asking the frogs that he did nothing here. The TRRC was here. We saw people came out and they were saying that it was Jammeh who asked them. I could remember when they said, he asked me, the TRRC team would tell them who, and they would come out and say it was Jammeh. So if all those killings happened during his time and a lot of people had to leave, went into exile, some were locked up like myself and a whole lot of other people. So I don't know how he thinks that he can just walk into this country and everything will be fine. But listening to him also, there's something that I noticed. Jammeh reads a lot. If you listen to him talking about, you know, the Quran, quoting all these people, that would tell you that he reads a lot. He knows all these things. I think that was, I enjoyed that part. And that's always I say, but also needs to acquaint himself with issues because you can see Jammeh has that.
But
you know.
Okay, fine. Now let's move on to the post you made today on social media. We all know that the Gambia Police Force denied 3 years Jotna to hold demonstration, processions, protests, whatever you call it, this month. Is it coincidental or this thing came or because you are fed up with it? So
no, it's
3 years Jotna, 5 years, and APRC wanted
3
to
years
do
Jotna. When 3 years Jotna came, I could remember it was, I think his name is Cow Balde. Cow Balde or Cow Yero? Yeah, Cow Yero. I still have the exchange of messages with him when he first wrote to me to say that they're working on a 3 years Jotna thing. And what I first told him is that, you know, I don't like violence. And I'm not discouraging, I'm not saying protests are wrong. It's a democracy, people can protest. So, but I do not like them and I don't believe in them. And whether it is Dabo who is the president or Barrow is the president or Omar Wali is the president, I do not like violence. So I told the guy that I am not interested in this kind of thing. And then, you know, at some point he was even very angry with me saying, I can see the Fatu Network is not even covering our events. And I said, go and work with the team, contact Omar or contact Lamin. And then if you want a platform to talk about issues, we cannot deny you that. But I personally am not interested. And then this came when a lot of people who were saying at that time that they're not interested in protest, we saw when Occupy Westfield came. We saw when a whole lot of protests wanted to be done here in the Gambia. We saw people who were saying, no, we cannot allow this. Barrow is a good person and that, you know, he is a great guy that we should give him opportunity. So after all of that, the 3 years Jotna guys protested and it went very well. Everybody was like, oh, we thought this was going to be violent, but they did a great job. They came out and they said what they wanted to say and then they left. And then Barrow's group, the 5 years Jotna, you know, I'm not mean they're Barrow's group, but they're the ones who are supporting Barrow, also came out and they said, we want the president to stay for 5 years. That also came. And then 3 years Jotna wants to come back again. And you know, when they come back again, this other group is going to come back again. So how long are we going to finish all of this? And the other thing, the fact that they made it clear that this is going to be, we had people sending messages. You heard what they've been saying, that they're going to make this country ungovernable, that they're going to burn this country into, you know, flames. I don't know if those people are part of them, but we're seeing that all over social media. So how do you expect a country that you said you are going to make ungovernable, for the security of that country to give you a permit for you to go out and do just that? That doesn't make no sense. Plus, they already protested.
So it doesn't make sense for both 5 years and 3 years because you talked about blocking the roads and so on. So for you,
people up.
The most important thing is to focus on issues affecting the country, health and so on.
I think that's what we need to do right now. This country has been around over 50 years. Until now, water is a problem. Our office is right here on Keraba Avenue. We do not have water. Until now, there's a problem with the health system. People giving birth in the hospital and they're dying every day. We have seen all of that. These are issues that the Gambian people should be working on. When we said that time when Barrow just came, I said, no, this government, I think there's a whole lot of stuff lacking that they need to work on. We were told to shut up. Until now, I don't speak to most of these people because they said we were wrong, we were jealous because we were not given job, we were criticizing Barrow, we were called all kinds of names. So we sucked that up for 3 years. They are lucky. Now they cannot stand Barrow, but it's only for 1 year. They are lucky. They only have to do 1 year. We did 3 years, and we are still here. They said all kind of stuff, so they need to wait again for just 1 year. They are lucky. What they need to do right now, if you want to do politics, form your political party. If you're already in a political party, just work on it. Do more sensitization and make sure that when the election comes, you win President Barrow and then you become the president and show us what you can do. But right now, Omar, I think there are more pressing issues that the Gambians should concentrate on. It's not protesting every day. It makes no sense. You talk and people tell you it's democracy. Democracy too doesn't mean that you have to protest every day. In America, people have a right to protest, but still you will have to go and you get your permit. But that doesn't mean people are protesting every day. It's idleness. That's what it is becoming to look like. And the thing is, this is the guy that you said is a very good guy. This is the guy that you said was working. This is the guy that you said nobody should criticize. All of a sudden, you want all of us to turn again and make a U-turn. I'm not going to do that. And this does not mean I'm supporting Barrow. Even Barrow, if somebody tells him, he will tell you this woman will not support me.
So, like Baxter said, you are also an against that.
Well, yeah, that's what they make me to be. You know, nobody everywhere in Gambia. I think a lot of people still think that I'm an against her. But what I'm saying, I mean, let's be honest with each other. I mean, you cannot tell me today Omar Wali is the best since sliced bread. And then tomorrow you come because of issue that happened with him, you want me to do about turn again and go against him. We're not going to do that. So let them just give the country a chance. Let us work on our health system. Water is a problem. Sometimes you wake up, even to take a bath is a big problem. So I think these are some of the issues that we need to concentrate on.
Last week, a video emerged, and you were coming from Sierra Leone, and you were coming from the aeroplane, and people were shouting, and some said you were expelled. Some said so many things where, you know, we saw the video, it was circulated on social media.
Well,
what happened?
Fine. Well, that's fine. They have a right to their opinion. I am Fatou Camara. I'm a public figure, and it's very, very normal for public figures when something happened for everybody to talk about it. I did not know that I am also very known in Sierra Leone, so at least that's a very good thing. Now it looks like both Senegal, Gambia, and Sierra Leone, you know, people get to know me. But what actually happened was just an airline issue. It was just an airline that did an overbooking. That was all. So they actually boarded us. They checked us in and allow us to board. You know, an airplane is not a car that you can just walk into and just sit down. So we were cleared to go into the airplane. We went inside, and when we got in, and they said, "Oh, your names are on standby or something. You need to come out." But the names on the thing on our itinerary was that the ticket were confirmed. So they asked us to come down. I was the one who asked for somebody to come because they actually said that we should get off the plane. And if this was not Sierra Leone, where my friend and sister is First Lady, I was not going to come down the plane because I have equal rights like everybody else who was in the flight. I decided to come down, and I said, it's not worth it. Let me do this for the sake of, you know, of her. So I came down, but when I was going down, I told the guys, the security, that please come with me because the people who were downstairs were angry because the captain said they're not going to let them come in if the three of us don't get down. So those people were already angry, waiting for a little bit, and it was taking time. So I said, please come with us so that we can come down and nobody would do anything. I saw them taking photos and videos, so I'm not surprised that it is out there. But we actually did nothing wrong. The interesting part is I saw people sending me messages saying, be careful, don't go to Freetown. These people set people up. That's just, nothing like that happened.
So don't you think there are some personal issues? There are some people in Sierra Leone who are not happy with.
But they don't know, so what would they not be happy with?
No, because what I'm saying.
What would they not be happy with? What happened? Am I the president of Sierra Leone?
No, listen to me. During Jammeh's time, Nigerian actors and actresses were coming to this country.
Am I an actress?
I'm telling you. You are not any ordinary person like Omar Wali here who doesn't, nobody know me, unlike you. Like you say, you're a public figure, you're an influential person.
I'm not sure I'm influential.
Okay, but you're a public figure, you're a well-known person. Now, you were, you said you are surprised, but I don't think you should be surprised.
No, I didn't say
I was surprised. No, I mean, you said you are surprised. So many people know in Sierra Leone.
No, I didn't know that I am also known in Sierra Leone. But what happened was after that, the airline came to me. They apologized. They said, we didn't know it was you. Because what happened, they sell people's tickets, they sell you a ticket and then sell your seat. But some people in the flight told them this is far too, and they started explaining. So that was it. But I don't think anybody would be angry for anything, because all I do about Sierra Leone is share pictures and videos of a friend of mine, whose videos I share is because she's also a friend. That's all I do. I never interfered in their politics. I never referred anybody to Fatima. I never referred anybody to the president. All I do is go see a friend and go back home. Share a friend or something that is really nice and positive, I share it on my page. That's all I do. I never gave any interview in Sierra Leone. I never been to any government office. I've never spoken to anyone. When I go, it's with my friend. That's all I do. So I see no reason why anybody would be angry about that. I think a lot of people are blowing this whole thing out of proportion. This happens every day. It happens every day. Just right now, somebody came to the office. You and I were sitting. She told us how she was stuck in Brussels for 3 days because the tickets were overbooked. So this happens every day. It's just, you know, when you're waiting to see that something really bad happens to someone, that you cannot even wait. That's just the situation. Okay. And I'm not saying everyone. I love Gambians, but some are just badibunkas.
Okay. Someone told me the reason for all that noise at the airport, because you were late.
No,
listen to me. Let me finish. You were late before you arrived at Lungi Airport because it's across the pond. The airport is outskirts. You have to cross the river or take helicopter. So you call Fatima. The plane was grounded. The plane was waiting for you.
No, that's not true.
Let me finish my question.
Yeah.
You were late. And you called Fatima. Fatima had to call the official. They grounded the plane, and the check-in was closed. They had to call the VIP. You went to VIP. That's why those people were angry.
Okay, that's not true. I never even called Fatima about that. Until today, she and I never even spoke about this issue. And I have no reason to lie because nobody pays my bills. What happened was I was there on time. I actually got there by, I think, 4 o'clock. The flight was supposed to leave at 5:45. I checked in and everything happened and I was just waiting. I would not even be at the airport and something like that happened and I tried to drag a friend into it. I would never, never, never even do that. So she was never called. She and I did not ever talk about this issue. We never even discussed it. The only people I talked to is the guys at the airport. The flight was grounded because they said all 3 of us get down and we said no. And we have every right to do that because we had confirmed tickets and we already paid our money. The money was deducted from my card. So this has absolutely nothing to do with anybody. The government, the officials, the authorities that were at the airport, they were the ones who I spoke to and they know about it and they said this is true, this is wrong. We will make sure that we talk to the airline that something like this would never happen. So yes, our tickets were sold, but people saying it was grounded, we called Fatima, that is not true. She was never, never in this picture. Until today, we never discussed this issue, me and her.
So finally.
So it's just people making up stories. I think people also need to understand that we're also human beings just like them. It's true that we are public figures, but what you don't want done to you or what you don't want done to your family member, you should not do that to anybody else because we also are a parent. In as much as I'm a public figure, Fatou Camara from Kiangurokang, but I also have kids. My son is 18 years old. You know, this is why I keep them away from Gambian social media because everything you see there is insults, like we do not have a life. I mean, what is wrong with interacting with us in a decent way? What is wrong with if you don't know about a situation, just ask me, I will tell you. But dragging people into it, I even heard them going to the extent of saying it's all over Sierra Leone media. Why do Gambians always like to embarrass each other? For what reason? I mean, nothing absolutely happened. And I saw people blowing this out of such a big proportion. I'm like, what in the world is happening now to us? It's a very unfortunate situation. But I just want to assure you all that when I travel out of the country, I am Fatou Camara, but I'm also a Gambian. And I carried a Gambian passport. So I want to make sure that the country that I went to, I behave right and also be an ambassador of my country. I cannot carry a Gambian passport and misbehave at an airport because it's going to come back to us as Gambians. So I know how to act. I'm not a badibunka.
Okay. Finally, before we go, you show 5 years was protesting in support in calling on Barrow. Most people said instead of calling on Barrow to overstretch his tenure in office, they should call for better electricity, proper health system, and education. What will be your message to Barrow to focus on ahead of in 2021, 2020?
I think the whole issue. I've always said that. We always blame the president, but the problem is us. Because the leader of a country is always a reflection of the people. It is us, we are the people who are engaged since even before the split came between UDP and Barrow. This stuff has always been like this. It has always been the same. So I think it is time for everybody, including the president, his government officials, the ministers, for everyone to work. It's through elections is 1 year, so we're going to be seeing a lot of politicking. But this should have been done at least now. But since they came in the coalition, it has always been politics. So I don't know what else we're going to advise them, because now the election is about less than 365 days, right?
Right.
That's when we have elections. So I think everything that should have been done in the initial. But now that we only have 1 year to go, when we said, no, Barrow, I don't think Barrow can govern, we were insulted, we were called names, but we had to put up with it for almost 4 years. Now let them put up with this 1 year. At least there were times, the people who are now very angry and they're stressed out and they want him to leave right away. Yeah. We put up with this whole thing for 4 years almost. You called us names, you insulted us. At least you are lucky, you only have 1 year. So now manage that 1 year and build your political parties. And if you can, if you can, just make sure that you lose the election and you win and you sit and enjoy. That is all. But right now, we definitely don't want no violence in this country. I think we should know that.
I interviewed Bakso sometimes last week, and he said you were an against, but now you are in the same company. Yes,
I heard them say that. I heard Bakso saying that. That's why when I complain, they're always very happy. But I've said that here. I said, I don't know when people like Rambo Jata and Bakso would know that I am not the person who removed the Ajame here. Barrow came clearly. He said he did it by himself. Don't they get that part? I don't understand why this is still on me. The man who did it came out and told you, I removed Jammeh all by myself. I killed the lion. So why is it still Fatou Camara?
No, what I'm saying, what
Bakso was saying was along those lines. I heard him.
It was, okay, Bakso.
I heard him.
Yeah, his comment.
I listened to his entire interview. Yeah, he was saying that we did this, but now he's happy. That's why when I'm complaining, he's always laughing and he wants us to be even tougher for me.
But in other words, he's also saying you are now gloating. Because you were trying to say, okay, let's borrow this, borrow that. People were saying, no. Now they have seen what you and Madi Jobat and others were critical of the president. That's something.
But critical of the president, that's normal. Yeah. I mean, if the president does something that is not right, I cannot be here. I cannot do that. I mean, the president knows if he does something that is right, I will say it. But if he does something that's not correct, I have to say it. I'm here for everybody. It's not just to support one part or be there for one part. Sometimes when people say stuff about that, but there was a time a bank statement came out, I came out and said that's false. You know, so when they say stuff too about the president that's not correct, and I feel I have an idea about it, I do come out and speak about it. Why? What reason do I have to be angry? Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen is what I say. How many people do I pay salary every month? That's Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. If I was in this government working as a minister, will I be able to do that? No. If you listen to how much a minister gets paid, it's $800. So why do people think that you have to be in government to be happy? Why do they think that you have to be in government to enjoy? I mean, there are people who are not in government. They're doing very well for themselves, and we're doing very well for the country. I think that's what matters. So I feel like Bakso Mbula.
So ito na umutale kami na le.
I mean, we cannot do that.
Anyway,
we have to speak our mind.
That's where we will end this news review today. From me, Amar Wali, my team, and Fatou Camara, thank you so much. Till tomorrow.
Thank you all very much.